Alright, welcome to this video. Let's continue from where we stopped in Till I Rise by Maya Angelou. We want to talk about the literary devices we have in that poem, ranging from the figures of speech, structure of the poem, and many others. Let me begin with the use of repetition and refrain. One of the most striking devices in the poem is repetition, especially the refrain, I rise, which runs throughout the text. This repeated phrase becomes a mantra of resilience, reminding the reader that no matter the oppression, the speaker will always overcome. In the final stanza, the phrase is repeated 3 times, I rise, I rise, I rise, which serves as a triumphant climax and seals the poem with unshakable determination. So the refrain thus creates rhythm, reinforces the central theme of resilience, and leaves the reader with an unforgettable sense of defiance and hope. Another poetic device used here is simile. Maya Angelou uses simile to liken her resilience to unstoppable natural forces. For instance, she writes, but still like dust I'll rise, and but still like air I'll rise. These comparisons highlight the inevitability of her rising. Just as dust settles and air cannot be contained, her spirit cannot be suppressed. Similarly, she compares her rising to moon and suns, which rise with the certainty of nature's cycles. These similes emphasize her unbreakable willpower and her alignment with forces larger than human control, stressing that her dignity and strength are natural and unstoppable. We have also metaphor and symbolism as a poetic device here. The poem is rich in metaphor, often comparing the speaker's worth and confidence to great treasures. She says she works like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room and laughs like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. These images symbolize not literal wealth, but rather an inner richness of spirit, pride, and dignity. By using metaphors of oil, gold, and diamonds, Angelou elevates the Black identity, once associated with poverty and slavery, to a position of immeasurable value. Another powerful metaphor is when she declares, I am a black ocean, leaping and wide. This ocean represents the depth, strength, and collective power of her people. We have also imagery. Angelou employs vivid imagery to paint strong emotional pictures that resonate with the reader. When she asks, did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, wakened by my soulful cries. The imagery of a broken weeping figure evokes pity and shows the humiliation that opposers expect. In contrast, she presents uplifting imagery into a daybreak that wondrously clear. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. The contrast between images of despair and images of hope dramatizes her transition from historical suffering to liberation. We have also, very importantly, rhetorical question. Throughout the poem, Angelou uses rhetorical questions to confront her oppressors. For example, she asked, "Does my sassiness upset you? And does my haughtiness offend you?" These questions are not seeking answers, but are meant to challenge and taunt those who feel threatened by her confidence. They expose the insecurity of the oppressor while asserting the speaker's pride. The repeated question, the repeated questioning also builds tension, drawing the reader into the conversation and reinforcing her defiant tone. We have also alliteration and other sound devices. Alliteration has to do with the repetition of consonant sound at the initial positions of words in a line of poetry. So we have this in this particular poem, Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. So Angelou also makes use of sound devices to give her poem rhythm and pause. Alliteration is present in phrases like part of history's shame. We have alliterate in heart and history. It is repeated. The sound is repeated. And then sassiness and sexiness. We have this alliterate, which provides a musical quality that makes the lines memorable. The sibilant sound, in particular, adds a sharp, almost mocking tone that matches the speaker's haunting questions. Internal rhymes and echoes, such as bloom, room, rises, rise, eyes, which are examples of assonance, create a steady flow that keeps the poem engaging while highlighting keywords and emotions. Also, we have personification in this poem. The poem personifies abstract concepts to give them human power. For instance, Angelo writes, "You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hurtfulness." Remember, personification refers to the giving of human attribute to something inanimate. So here words, eyes, and hate are personified as weapons that can wound. This shows the destructive power of prejudice and discrimination, making intangible oppression feel physical and violent. So by turning words and looks into weapons, Angelo conveys the deep emotional and psychological scars inflicted by racism and hatred. We have historical allusion also in this poem. The poem makes clear reference to the historical suffering of Black people. Angelo writes, "Out of heart of history's shame, I rise. Out of heart of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise." This alludes to the painful legacy of slavery and oppression that African Americans inherited. She also acknowledges the sacrifices of her ancestors in the powerful line, "I am the day, I am the dream and the hope of the slave." These allusions tie her personal triumph to the collective triumph of the race, making the poem not just an individual declaration, but also a historical and communal one. We have contrast and antithesis. Contrast has to do with presenting two opposing facts, and so is antithesis, two opposing opinions presented at the same time. So Angelou constantly contrasts images of oppression with images of victory. For example, the oppressors may throw her in the very dirt, but she counters with like dust arise. Similarly, against nights of terror and fear, she asserts her movement into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. This contrast highlights the reversal of power. The oppressors try to push her down, but she turns the humiliation into elevation. The device strengthens the theme of resilience and the inevitability of triumph. It is important also we consider the tone of this poem. The tone of the poem is both defiant and celebratory. In the beginning, the tone is confrontational as she addresses her oppressors with sarcasm and sharp questions. Does my sassiness upset you? So as the poem develops, the tone becomes more triumphant and exultant, culminating in the repeated chants of "I rise." So this tonal progression mirrors the movement of the poem itself, from the weight of oppression to the joy of freedom and self-assertion. So together, these literary devices make Still I Rise a powerful anthem of resilience. Each technique, whether it's imagery, metaphor, repetition, or rhetorical question, serves to reinforce Maya Angelou's central message that no matter the oppression, she and her people, Africa, will continue to rise with strength, dignity, and hope. So this is a very interesting piece by Maya Angelou. Do well to pay attention again to the lines, get all these devices, and then you're good. Thank you for watching this video. I remain Teacher Dixon. See you in my next video.